If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed, a child shall lead them.
Yes.
Okay.
To buy our merch.
We have an amazing DJ stream for you beautiful people. If you want to be part of a DJ stream, 4-song minimum, no maximum.
Oh my god, my headphones.
And,
Just do the intro.
of course, Shariah doesn't have her headphones. We're not prepared. Surprise, surprise. And then you, dear listener, get to determine what time we do it, what songs we do, etc., 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 etc. This is part 1, Chasing Shadow. Let's do it.
I fear the end has just begun. As darkness festers in my heart, I know I can't go on chasing shadows in the dark.
expecting that. Not expecting that. Somebody mentioned Bring Me the Horizon. I'm a fan of Bring Me the... It's really... I have a very interesting relationship with that band.
Yeah, you do.
Because I'm a fan of them. I'm very grateful to them, but I don't really listen to them a lot. I can't really listen to them a lot, but that's another story for another day.
Wow! Oh my gosh, this song is so good.
I figured this is would be right up your alley.
This is exactly up my alley. These are the songs that I live for. These are the ones I wait for reactions for.
Yeah, I'm with Ian on this one. People are like, oh, the metalcore sounds the same. I'm like, yeah, there's a violin or a cello or something in there. Yeah, I definitely remember all those metalcore bands with a bunch of cellists. What are you talking about? I really like that middle. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
You know when there was a part where he said the whispering part.
Yeah.
Let me Command F it. Oh, right there. In the dark, I hear them whispering, and then they were like whispering.
Literal whispering. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool. We should add that into our song somewhere. One of our songs.
Okay. I'm feeling that.
That's really cool.
I'm feeling that energy.
Man, I love this song. It's actually pretty emotional feeling for me. I feel like crying. I'm holding that in. To me, it seems like, first of all, are they a Christian band?
I don't think so.
It's interesting because it sounds like he's using the 23rd Psalm.
Well, at least in the
take my hand and guide me through the valley of the shadow of death.
Yeah.
And then he says, hold on to heaven.
Right.
So it sounds
and he
like
said they're a post-hardcore alternative metalcore band. Doesn't say that they're Christian.
Yeah. I mean,
who formed in 2009.
I love their music. I love it. So it basically sounds like this person is contending with the darkness that's in their heart, and they've been searching for like a remedy, a way out, a way to fix it, but it's not really happening like they want it to, it seems like. But then he says, take my hand and guide me through the valley of the shadow of death. And then he says, hold on to heaven. The interesting part I thought was when he was saying about that he's in between the devil and the deep blue sea.
Yeah. That was brilliant.
Well, tell me why you thought it was brilliant.
Well, just because the devil, is on one side, which is kind of like fiery, whatever. And then the deep blue sea is on another side, which is sort of sometimes looked upon as peaceful or whatever, but could also kill you in the right or wrong circumstances.
Yeah.
So it's a form of like contemplating doing something bad to himself, but at the same time, he's trying to escape from the devil and finally have some peace.
To me, this song was a prayer, and I think if my prayers from my heart made music, it would be like this. This is what it would be, because this was like when he said. So he says, I've been searching for a remedy between the devil and the deep blue sea, which you just said. Say the words, and you will set me free.
Before the sky's falling down on me.
Mm-hmm. And to me, that was like the prayer to Jesus.
Which I feel like a lot of people are dealing with that kind of anxiety right now.
Mm-hmm.
Not just because of current events. I just think it's so much easier now to believe that the world is collapsing because now we have access to seeing parts of the world collapse.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you're seeing all this horrible stuff domestically, and I was just talking to a guy. He's like, last night we were talking, and me and this guy talk every other day, channel dude, and we were talking about COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And, 2-3 months ago, for the last 2 years, COVID, horrible this COVID, horrible that COVID story, terrible whatever, controversies, people taking sides, tribalism, people hating each other, yada, yada, yada. And now it's like, oh, we don't care about COVID now. Now we're talking about this, situation in Eastern Europe. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's always something else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And because
there's no rest.
People don't understand, psychologically, what we're all doing to ourselves and what the media is doing to us, because fear sells. Mm-hmm. And sensationalism, all this shit sells. and it generates revenue for them. And when you're terrified, one of the ways that you deal with terror, one of the ways that I found that people are dealing with their own fear is to know everything that's going on, because somehow that gives us some sort of illusion of control.
Right.
So like, I have to know everything that's happening. I was talking to Zoe yesterday, and she was talking about the bombing of Kiev. Of course, Dorian is, he's up on politics or whatever, and so Dorian was, talking to them about the bombing of Kiev, and he was, it's all over CNN or whatever, and I said, you don't have to look at that, honey. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to look at that. And that's one of the things I think we have to train ourselves to do, is like, just because it's available, we don't have to see it. Mm-hmm. Like, there was another video of a cop shooting this black dude. Like, I haven't watched it. Like, there's no reason to see it. There's no reason to look at it. I didn't look at the Ahmaud Arbery video. Why? You don't need to look at it. So, like, that's one of the disciplines I think people are going to have to figure out.
Yeah. In
our current times, is that you don't have to look at everything. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to see everything. And like, those bombs were going off, and you're like, people are there, right? People are dying. And I'm like, yeah. Like, yeah, people are dying. But, like, we're in this sick society now where everything is televised, and then everything is on video, and everybody's got a cell phone. So everybody's on camera. And I think it really kind of perpetuates this concept that the sky is falling. And then, so you've got foreign issues, and, then you've got domestic issues with COVID, and then you have your own personal family issues, and then you have your own personal issues. And it's like, there's no sphere in your life now where there isn't some horrible, like, literally existential crisis now. Mm-hmm. And then now you're seeing, and, I keep saying, Americans don't understand what it means to actually do war.
Right.
Because, 9/11 and everything, it's like, all that shit was happening on the news. You know what I'm saying?
Somewhere else.
But now you've got cell phone videos of a soldier saying goodbye to his kid on a train.
Yeah.
And they're going off to some safe area, supposedly, and he has to stay back in Kiev and fight. And this dude might not even be voluntarily fighting, because they made it basically illegal for dudes to leave the area, so they have to get conscripted into the military. So this could just be some regular Joe who's now caught up in something that he probably doesn't understand all the geopolitical reasons for why he's doing what he's doing anyway. It's just, so my thing is you gotta exercise some discipline and know where you are emotionally, so you can unplug from that shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I agree.
Some of it's about balance too, like what for positivity are you putting into yourself that kind of helps your soul heal? What are you putting in versus the negative that you're putting in versus what the positive that you're putting in, because you have to offset it by the positive. Otherwise you're going to be overwhelmed. But I think sometimes we're just like taking in all this negativity all over the place. And like you said, you're dealing with home problems and work problems and relationship problems and all these different things. And it's just problem. And you have to have a place to decompress and put into yourself something that's healing to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I can't go on chasing shadows in the dark. It's a really interesting line, shadows in the dark, because they're shadows and then it's dark. Mm-hmm. It's really interesting. Like, I woke up today, I was going to ask you, actually, I was like, did something bad happen last night or whatever? Because I just woke up today with this heavy, sad feeling, which of course, based on what's happening in the world, it's probably just the residual effects of that, you know what I'm saying? But I really felt like there was some horrible conversation that we had. Maybe it was a bad dream, I don't know. Mm. But I just woke up like feeling that. And that was one of the things they talked about in the at the psych ward, was the impending doom. Like, this idea that something bad has happened, but you can't really put your finger on, or something bad is going to happen, or some weird kind of feeling over here, not even a premonition, just this unspoken dark heaviness, and that's how I interpreted, shadows in the dark. calling out my name, feel the fire going down in flames. And sometimes when things get really, really, really bad in all the spheres that you're in, your mind will do that as a sort of defense mechanism, like, oh, something bad's going to happen. So it can prepare itself when nothing really bad is happening. And then the fear of the bad thing happening is the bad thing.
Yep.
And then you're going to try to figure out, and that's how I interpreted chasing shadows in the dark. It's like you're never going to find a shadow in the dark, right? And so, like, sometimes there's problems that you don't have, but you're going to go trying to figure out how to solve those problems, and it's not the problem, it's the fear of the problem.
Yep.
So...
Yeah. I loved this song. Lyrically, I thought it was just great. I love that there's some real dealing with what the person's going through, but then some actionable stuff where they're, asking for guidance.
Yeah.
I think that if you're at a place where you don't ask for guidance anymore and you just kind of accept the place that you're in and you accept the shadows and you accept the shadow of death, then that's a more difficult place to be. And I think that it's also a scarier place to be. So I think that if, we're at a place where we can still say, you know what, I still want guidance and I still want to make my way out of the shadow of death, and then that's good, and ask for the guidance. And I don't know, I guess too, if you haven't felt like that, maybe you felt like you've been in a dark place for a long time and you realized in this conversation that you don't ask for guidance anymore, like, speak to that higher one and ask for some guidance.
Yeah, there's been a lot of times where, it's really funny. It's like, if you're lost in the woods and you pull out your GPS on your phone to get back home, somebody goes, oh, you're just using that GPS as a crutch. Yes.
Yes, sir. I am.
I am lost. That's why we have crutches. When you have a broken leg, that's why you have crutches. I never understood how this idea that God is a crutch is some sort of disproving of religion or whatever people think it is. That seems to be like a more of an ego attack than it is a solid argument. It's like, yeah, if I didn't have a broken leg, I would not need a crutch. You know what I'm saying? So I'd happily say, like, yeah, I'm a broken person. God's guided me out of the woods a million times.
Yeah.
And he'll do it again. And sometimes the way out of the woods is to just sit down and have some peace and quiet. Sometimes God leads you into some wilderness just to get away from everybody. So you can sit down and just chill. You know what I'm saying? So I've had those experiences too, man, in the midst of a lot of chaos. And I've found heaven in the midst of a lot of chaos at times, and a lot of bad shit, and a lot of personal crises, and a lot of darkness. I found a lot of times when I'm just sitting there chilling, and just me and him sitting on a rock in the woods, and just saying, "This is some shit," and he'd be like, "Yeah, man," And eventually you get up and you get out, but those times are also sweet. So I would commend that to you, dear listener. But yeah, I really enjoyed this song a lot. Really, really strong one. And we have a part 2 coming up, dear listener. So
this
stay
was a
tuned.
10 for me. I loved it.
It's a solid. There's Tony. Tony says he's hardcore, so no crutches for his broken legs.
And it was such a gross. You remember we were looking at that thing of the bone structure of that particular group of people?
Yes.
And like what the joints and stuff were doing. Like when he said that, like I just pictured like a very extreme version of that because he's got broken legs. No crutches for me. I'm hardcore.
Yeah.
Like going along with his busted legs. It's so bad.
Yeah. This is the 8.8 for me.
Loser.
What did you say, loser? Where are all the people advocating for my opinionated autonomy, dear listener? Where are you? Hear me?
They don't agree with you because you made a bad score.
I'm on the way back. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.